Hello teacher, my name is Tram. I'm in charge of Unit 4, A Good Story. If my project is carried out, I believe that my students will enjoy every single part of it. There are 4 parts in my presentation: introduction, procedures, standards, and objectives, and assessment. First, I'm going to introduce my unit portfolio. The subject area in this unit is quite interesting: film and literature, which suits students in high schools. And the approximate time needed is 4 weeks, 90 minutes classes, and 3 days per week. In this unit, the students will immerse themselves in the world of film and literature. They will act as film critics to write film reviews. Then, they will make presentations about their favorite films. At the end of their project, they will take part in a short story competition. They also have a chance to be actors and actresses to perform plays in front of the class. Thanks to these activities, they are sure to have in-depth understanding and great fun. Here are the curriculum framing questions. Through all the activities in the project, students can answer these content questions. How can we write a good film review? How can we write a good short story? What can we learn in a film or a play? Then they can answer the unit question: why do we need creativity in filmmaking and story writing? More importantly, they have their own answers for the big question, the essential question: why is creativity important? Second, I'm going to talk about the procedures of the unit. To make it easy for you to understand my project, I'll first give you the outline of the unit portfolio. There are 6 folders. In Assessment folder, there are 4 rubrics. In Images and Sounds folders, there are 4 smaller ones, including images and listening recordings. In Student Sample folder, students are provided with clear examples of each assignment in the project. In Student Support folder, I give them instructions for each task in the project. In Teacher Support folder, there are smaller folders: grammar, listening, reading, speaking, vocabulary, and writing. In grammar, I have past tense, so and such further practice. In listening, I include further listening practice and a song to fill in. In reading, I give them reading further practice. In speaking, I include visual materials for them to work in class. In vocabulary, there are a lot of activities for them. In writing, there is a film review for them to analyze. Last but not least is the unit plan folder, which contains the heart or the cornerstone of the project, the unit plan. Now it's time for me to dig deeper into the procedure. In week 1, day 1, I will introduce the unit through a quiz, then provide students with guidelines, samples, and rubrics for presentations and plays, because it takes a lot of time for them to prepare and practice a presentation or a play. After that, I teach them vocabulary through activities in class. On day 2, before I start a lesson, I let them play mini vocabulary game to remind the vocabularies they have learned during the previous periods. Then review such and past tenses. Ask them to do all the exercises in coursebook and the exercises in the handout I will deliver. After that, I'll teach them phrasal verbs and expressions with text, and include exercises in coursebook and in handout for them to practice. On day number 3, I spend 2 periods on listening. First, I will deliver essay listening tips for them to review the listening skills. Ask them to listening to the task in course book and do some extra practice. At the end of the period, I will give them a song to fill in and relax. In week 2, day 1 and day 2, it's time for them to learn how to write a film review. After that, they will be allowed to watch Tango and write a review for it in the class. And I will give them a homework, like ask them to write a film review for their favorite film at home. In week number 2, day 3, it's time for speaking. First, I will instruct them how to speak successfully in part number 2, and let them watch a sample video to help them have something in mind. After that, let them practice part 2 in pair and inform the class with a timer and the materials I give them. In week 3, day 1, it's time for reading. Before that, I will give them FC reading tips for them to review the reading skills. Ask them to finish the reading task in course book and some extra practice in class with clear explanation after they finished all of them. On day 2 and day 3, it's show time for presentations, and I give them feedback and score them based on the presentation rubric. In the last week, week number 4, on day 1, I'll instruct them how to write a short story, then organize a writing competition in class, inform them rules and awards, and ask their friends to evaluate their writing based on a rubric to find out a winner of the competition. On the last 2 days of week number 4, it's time for them to perform their plays in front of the class, and I mark them based on the rubric, then give them feedback. After that, I will ask them to offer their reflection on paper so that I can improve the future project. Finally, I will inform their score for the project and sum up the unit. Thirdly, standards and objectives. I use European Common Framework of References for Languages and 21st Century Skills to guide my unit plan. And about student objectives, I hope that in this unit I can cover most parts of the unit 4. Try to improve 4 skills of English for students, especially speaking skills, and try to make students enjoy what they are learning in unit 4. The last part of the presentation is the assessment. Before the project, I will use the quiz to arouse their curiosity and make them brainstorm about a topic. During the project, I will use some assessment like review assessment, short story, or I can say that essay assessment, presentation rubrics, play rubrics, and give them chances to ask any question during the project. At the end of the project, it's time for them to give me their reflection on the unit and on the project they have learned. And finally, I will give them my feedback so that I can help them to improve their performances in the future project. That's all about my presentation, and that's also about my unit portfolio for Unit 4. Thanks for your listening.